No, I don't If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire. Ooh, ooh. If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire. If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire. If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire. If I say goodbye, then make me a liar, make me a liar. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to round 4 of the Diamond Championship at the Dutch Grand Prix. So a first for Diamond, expecting a very interesting race. No one's probably got the experience as they would at other tracks. With me as always is Roscoe.
Hello, good evening. Great to be back as always. We're a little bit off to a fun start on my end because I'm having issues with getting into the lobby. So I've absolutely no idea what is going on. I didn't even know. I assume we've started. So I'm maybe a little bit delayed on my side. So
Well,
Tal, you might have to do a little bit of things on your end for a bit.
no worries. Well, I can tell you it's absolutely pissing down.
Okay.
It is. Looks like full wet conditions, and with the banking, that's going to be incredibly fun. Well, while our commentator joins, I might take us to the standings. So, as you can see, the driver's standings, Big Chich has a healthy 20-point lead over Tim Ant, who is actually quite a fair way ahead of Pure Gold, and Breno trailing in 3rd and 4th in the 60s. Smeg with 54 points in 5th, Donga and Alcatraz on 45 and 39, Stone Towel on 37, Bodhot on 35 and False on 34. So 7th to 15th is separated by 19 points, so it's very close there. And constructors, we have Mercedes out ahead on 146 points, followed by Renault on 127. Alpha in 3rd on 99, and Racing Point in fourth with 86, and Williams in fifth with 76. And it's really close to that mid-pack. Down in eighth, Ferrari on 62 points. So a lot could shuffle around there. Go back to our main screen. And okay, so it's not full wet because some are going out into some on full wets. So it must be a little bit mixed. Let's see who's the furthest around on that. Looks like it's a Haas quite a way away. Looks like it's can't do crap. Yeah, we got a yellow in sector 2. No one should be getting out of the way of anyone. Looks like Jay Schick has dropped it. Expect a lot of that today. Go on board with can't do crap through turn 1. A lot of angles, a lot of ways you take it. Gets a little happy on the gas. Through this awkward right-hander, take a really narrow line into 3. Doesn't feel very natural, but it really is the only way to take that corner. Gas it through this, what is typically flat, but in the wet, I expect there'll be a lift. Still flat, so very confident. Usually a little dab brake in the nose in here, but a full lift through the right-hand sling. Obviously fast as the first sector, but use as much curve as you can without validating. And then this corner, really weird one. Really get the power down really early in the drive. But with it being wet, can't do crap, has to hold off. Through this middle section, probably where people are going to get their penalties. Very clumsy, that first right-hander. Fight and grip through the left, and the second right-hander you will come onto the banking, which in the wet is going to be awkward. It's almost flat. Oh wow, Bodhodge dropped it on the exit. I thought that was in the pits. So Bodhod's already out of qualifying. His dismal qualifying continues and can't do crap. Take provisional pole to 23.9, I believe it was.
Are you able to send invites by any chance?
I should be able to, yeah.
Yeah, can you send me a couple, please? None of them are working for me.
It will come up on screen, I imagine. So
Yeah.
that's alright. As we all look through my friends list, and where's Roscoe? There he is. And we'll send him one more for good measure.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. As Rock takes pole with a 22 flat. So very nice and quick. And Alcatraz up there in second now. And we've got a Williams, not a Williams, that would be a McLaren round, and it's James Cruz. Really awkward corner there at turn 3. Gasses it out as James Cruz, but I'm trying to see who is on a lap, but clearly the Inter's the tyre as they are all towards the front. But False goes third with a 23.8. Pure Gold trumps that with a 21.1. Also on the Inters, so looks like both tyres are viable. As James Cruz makes another travel off, so he's having a tumultuous time. And he's dropped it, keeps it out the wall, just. Stone Tau coming around the final sector. Go on board here again. I want to see who's lifting, who's flat through here. He's flat, so the Inters definitely look a lot better through there. That's P2 at 21.6. That's a really good time, actually. Looks like everyone's just doing laps for laps, so take our pick and sit with the driver and watch the times tumble. Championship leader here on a pretty decent time on the wets. You'd expect he's going to come in for inters very soon. Looks like I've sorted that little audio issue there. There we go. It's very unfortunate. We've got a car around there. That is... not too sure who that was. It's Jay Schick. Actually, he's retired the car through a very awkward spot. And we got a McLaren round, so if everyone is struggling around here, that middle sector. As Pure's done a 19.6, as I haven't just noticed, so Pure putting the hammer down now, trying to get a decent pole position lap in. Tim Ant now has jumped up to third. So the gap from second to fourth quite small, particularly the gap from second to third, 0.02 of a second. But typically, as most of Diamond's been, Pure seems to be almost untouchable in qualifying. So we'll follow Tim for the last bit of this lap, see if he's flat through here. Yep, looks like it's pretty comfortable, but I think he's boxing anyway, so never mind that. Alcatraz, our championship leader Big Chich, and Smeg on their outlaps. Like False is midway through a lap and sets a purple first sector. Not too sure if that's actually purple or a glitch, but it did say he was 0.8 up, so could be very quick. .6 seconds up. So I don't think it's a proper purple, but it is a lot quicker than what he's done. So it should vault him up into the top 5. Expecting a lap maybe 2 seconds faster. And False, yeah, 2.5 seconds faster, right on 5th with 21.3. Pretty happy with that lap. This is Merc teammate, championship leader. What can he do? Go on board. And he sets purple first sector. He's 1.2 seconds up, so this could actually be very, very fast. Goes to second to get some rotation through there. No short shift, just modulates the throttle. Interesting. lock up into that awkward section. And does short shift out of the left-hander. Don't want to touch that inside curve. He's got away with it there. Hasn't spat him out. Run to the line, and it should be a very good time. It is. It's pole as well. So Chich, I did say 2 weeks ago, probably didn't expect himself to be in this championship fight, but he is well and truly not there by accident now. Fantastic lap. Looks like everyone is improving quite a lot. Track doesn't appear to be any drier from our point of view, but everyone seems to be just finding a lot of pace. So Rock was up over a second, so he might vault up towards the front of the grid here. That's a great camera angle, that one, on the banking. You see the run to the line, and it's pole. Forget about near the top, it's straight to the top. A 19.2. So everyone is finding time, so it must be getting dry, even though it doesn't physically look like it from our screen. Because everyone is finding tons of time. So even there you go, so Stone Towel up half a tenth, so he's going to drop into the 19s. As Breno drops into the 19s with a 19.7. Yeah, that 3.8 seconds, so it's definitely getting drier. Let's have a little watch of false here. And Tim Ant goes pole with a 19.1. Go back to false. Stone, sorry, was who we were watching. As a McLaren round, I think it's James, he's dropped it through the exit of 3. I'm going to stay with Stone Towel. Doesn't, drops into 19, says 19.7, but stays 7th. So everyone dropping into the 19s now. Looks like that's the new standard. Banana just doesn't get in, sticks a 20.1. False is down here, so he won't improve. Iconic Hue is up apparently 3.9 seconds. I find that extremely hard to believe. We'll have a look as the Red Bull gets out the way. It's so hard to get out the way here. 7/10 up. Is Iconic, so this should be a really good time too. It's like another mid-19. Not too sure if that was wheel spin or a bit of a glitch. Oh, locks it up though. It gets it stopped pretty well. 1.7 seconds up. This could dip into the 18s even. It's really giving it some throttle out of the corners. Not pole, it's the 19 flat, and I actually unfortunately did miss Stone Tower. He's done an 18.5. So apologies for that, Towel, but fantastic lap there. Looks like you've just got to be on track at the moment to do laps. No one can afford to sit, as Pure proves that point with an 18.3. Looks like Pure might actually have some comp in qualifying this week. He's not exactly half second up like normal. So Iconic is down. Tim Ant comes out. The Rock comes out. I think Breno's on his way out too. And is that a... Oh, no, Ant's also on that lap, so never mind that. Seems like Smeg was trying to get out of the way of Wingman or Stone Tower there. Stone Tower's getting out of the way as well, so it's really awkward everywhere. As we've got a McLaren round. Oh, just pulling over, and a Red Bull. Yeah, this is very awkward. Look at this middle sector. As we see Cutsy dropping it, but drops it nicely on the inside. Very well done, out the way of everyone. Oh, don't flick spin out there. Very, yeah, wait. Yeah, very well done. You can see everyone through the middle sector, just one behind the other. So we're going to try find the last person across the line, because everyone's going to obviously be able to do multiple laps with a lot of ERS in the wet. So it looks like it's going to be a Red Bull, or maybe one of the Ferraris. Don't think Banana's going to get over the line. Curving didn't get over the line either, and that's unfortunate for him. Follow Cutsy here. Not going to follow Cutsy, that doesn't make any sense. What am I saying? Pure will be the first to come across the line. No, it wasn't. It was Tao in 18.5, so he won't improve. Pure is the next across the line. He does improve ever so slightly, almost into the 17s. Looks like Tim Ant will be the one to respond, but he won't. He's dropped it. Just don't move the car. Oh, someone's in the wall as well. It was Chich. And Chich won't improve. Tim Ant won't improve. And looks like Wingman's not going to improve either. False improves ever so slightly. Alcatraz jumps up to P5 of the 19.1. Wingman obviously won't be improving. Banana didn't cross the line, neither did Curving, so it'll be very interesting if they cross the line, because they know they'll be getting a penalty if they do. And he does cross the line, but just doesn't improve. He's very lucky. And Cutsy coil across the line in his Red Bull. And Roscoe joins right at the end of qualifying.
Finally!
So, great timing there.
Thank you.
Well. Looks like Bodhod might need an invite, so I might actually do that. We'll be back in 1 second. And we are back from a very, very, very short break. But as you can see, Pure does take pole by that 5/10 margin that I was talking about. Rock takes P2. He'll be very happy with that. Stone Tower as well. Very close in P3. Iconic a little bit further back though in P4. And this is where it gets real close. Down to 9th is 3/10. 10th is 4/10. You can see the slew of drivers through there. Key to note is Chich in 7th, so championship leader a bit buried. Breno and Banana Cake Pie will make 10-11. Didn't get through it all because of the little break, but I'm sure you guys saw where everyone was. Oh wow, we've got a wet race too.
Oh, even better.
Yikes. Yep. So I was going to say, who do you think or fancy to win? But it didn't, because it doesn't matter that you didn't see qualifying. But now qualifying, probably,
No.
probably matters a bit more. Yeah, I'm not too sure who I favour here.
It's a real toss of a coin, this one, isn't it? Hello, everybody. By the way, sorry about the delay on my screen. Nice code masters, but it's probably a case of who's pretty much great in the wet weather. To be honest, I don't know most of these guys. If any of these guys are good in the wet weather, I don't know about yourself, Tal. Whether you know any of these guys are any good in the wet weather, but if any of these guys are good in the wet, then surely that's an advantage in this conditions.
I want to say Pure based on the qualifying performance, but he's consistently been 5/10ths faster in qualifying than everyone, but he hasn't exactly. He's not leading the championship. He's not exactly dominated these races, so I'm not too sure. As the AWS pit stop shows up, showing a black and white flag for tyre options. Interesting.
Lovely.
I think everyone wants the warnings. That's definitely the tyre I'll be going on to.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Actually, I might check. I'm not too sure if everyone's gone wets or inters.
No, everyone inters, but I've just looked at it on my screen. Everyone's on inters.
Yeah. So yeah, inters it is. If I can get to the tyre, apparently I can't. There we go.
We'll get there eventually. Anyway.
Yeah, I think Chich will be the one to watch in 7th. Expect him to come through, but he's going to have to be so patient here. Not only is there nowhere to overtake, but now that it's wet, it's just a nightmare.
Throws another spanner into the works, doesn't it?
Yeah, and with all the banking, there's no way no one's going to drop it. Someone's going to put it in the wall at that last turn. You can bank on it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've not seen many races around here in the wet, so this is going to new ground. If it rains tomorrow, I'm blaming the diamond tier for this, but I think everybody's nearly lining back up as the Can't Do Crap's just catching up back to the back of the field. And I think Codemasters takes over just at the final couple of corners, so be interesting to see what people are like in these wet weather conditions. Well, it's intermediates, but will it be wet enough for wets? Potentially. So everybody's just about lined up. We're just waiting on the other Haas at the back of the grid. So you got one at the front and one at the rear. So this should be entertaining. So it's Pure Gold and The Rock, Stone Tower, Iconic Hue, Dini Alcatraz, and Tim Ants. That's the top 6. So I think we're almost ready to go. There's the AWS, the strategy. Now I can understand why the black and white screen. But we've got the 5 red lights on now. Let's go racing here in the wet at the Dutch Grand Prix. Good start by Pure Gold. There's a little bit of contact there by one of the racing points, and looked like, I think it was Stone Tower there in the AlphaTauri, but Pure Gold, lovely starters. The graphics already glitching already, so lovely stuff as always. But it is Pure Gold that leads. Iconic Hue, nice start from him up into 2nd place. Oh, somewhat getting way off in the grass is one of the Williams. I think that might have been the Rock here. But looking like, I think everybody's got through cleanly as Curving Texas and SD Big Chich having a battle. But Curving wins that battle for the time being. Should hopefully fix itself up, this graphic. But I think everybody's got through cleanly so far, as we're just waiting to see this graphic fixes itself up now, which I think it has. But everyone clean so far.
Yeah, everyone pretty respectful. A bit of argy-bargy, but not too bad.
Yeah, Iconic Hue, very aggressive on the start there. Pretty much went straight up the middle. It was a tight space, but he did get the job done, and he's now under 2nd spot, and Tim Ant into 3rd. So we're almost completing lap 1. It's still Pure Gold, 1.3 6-second gap already to Iconic Q. Then it's Tim Ant. Then the Rock comes back into 4th place. Alcatraz pretty much stays stable in 5th. And then you got AU Wingman, who goes way up close to the wall there and may have just grazed it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it looks like he actually has a bit of front wing end plate damage there as the graphic plays up again.
Yeah. Oh, and he's getting a little bit happy on the gas too.
Yeah, just caught the back end of that as he'll be really struggling through here as I think Curving Texas trying to go around the outside on this banking. Not quite, doesn't quite have enough in the end. I think somebody else made a move in the background. I think it might have been Bod Hod. But it says Alcatraz is the leader. That's not correct. He's still in P5. Game likes to still stuff up even after the update.
Yep.
So there we go as it fixes itself now. So 2.3 seconds already. So Pure really setting his authority here as, someone's had a spin. Alcatraz is dropping a couple of spots there.
Yeah.
Didn't actually see what happened.
I think he's half spun maybe and caught it, but still
Yeah.
P8 there.
He'd be under attack from Banana Cake Pie there in the Ferrari just behind him, but only lost the 3 spots. Lucky to not lose any more as one of the AlphaTauri is getting very up there in that chicane part and lose the spot to Curving Tex. Might lose another spot here to Big Chich up inside at the second to last corner and gets it done. So I caught the back end of what happened with Wingman, so whether that's something to do with the front wing damage or not, or it's just a mistake into that chicane, because it is quite tricky as we have yellows. That's Breno, but a look of it in the background.
Yeah, around the wrong way, but
It is going reverse ways into the pit lane. I'd probably turn it around if I were you now, Breno. You got nobody around you.
yeah.
And I'd say he'll be coming into the pit lane if he's got front wing damage, or maybe retiring. But anyway, as come back to the front now, as Pure's really, confirmed Breno now retires from the Grand Prix. But Pure 3 seconds already as Towels just made a move, as Banana's actually had a moment. He's going to lose another spot here. Yes, he does. He's back down to P12. So just probably losing it a little bit through that probably one of the fast corners there at turn 7, and he might lose another spot. There's people moving right, left, and centre here. I think Wingman may have lost a couple of spots, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It's key to note, Wingman's on pad tonight. He's just sold his wheel upgrading, so he's not exactly going to be on the pace. He's not just forgotten how to drive all of a sudden.
Yes, so it might take him, well, I don't know exactly when his new wheel will be coming, but no doubt he'll be wanting to get back on that wheel as soon as possible. Currently position 9, just behind his teammate Stone Towel. But up the front has changed for 2nd and 3rd here as Timad going right round the outside. He can maybe hang it. No, he doesn't. He pulls back for the time being there, but just putting Iconic here under a little bit of pressure there in the racing point, and the Rock's not too far behind as Bananas into the pit lane, so I'd assume that's for a wing change. Yes, it is. It's Iconic is just maybe starting to feel a little bit of pressure behind from Tim Ant.
Yeah, Tim, every race it seems like Tim's got the pace to go with the leader, and he always gets stuck in 3rd, trying to pass 2nd for 30 laps. It happened every single race.
We're still going to gain points here at the current moment, considering championship leader is in 6th place, trying to chase after Curving Texas, as Wingman's falling back a little bit here. Again, that's probably to do with being on the pad a little bit. Obviously, not used to being on the pad for quite a while. It's just a little bit behind. There is the reigning champion putting maybe a move on cutscene. Maybe. No, not quite. He tried to think about it around the outside, but no can do. Cutsy hangs on for the time being. But just gets the better drive out of the corner there. And Spegs just hanging in there as well in P13. At 4.7 seconds now, the gap up the front. And again, Tim Ant just putting a little bit of pressure on Iconic here in that racing point. I'm going to say you got to keep it on the Rock as well, because he's not too far behind in that Williams. These three are pretty much having their own little battle here.
Yeah. I'm not too sure whether the one stop will actually work here with the wets. It is a long way, and the pit is so short here. The 2 stop is probably not a bad option.
No, that's possibly true. I think we've seen that. What was it last time out at? I think Mexico might have been the yellow tier, where he saw multiple pit stops. Of course, I think that probably was the same for the master tier. Although me personally, I did the one stop, but I wouldn't rule it out. So can't do craps was in the pit lane just then, as I think Bod's just made a move. My game stops glitching out. Yes, it does. So Bodhod up into 11th place now. Let me just check. Where did he start? He started 17th, so he's making some inroads here, but feels very weird. Sorry to interrupt for a second. Feels very weird to see him at the back of the field just a little bit here, considering the reigning champion.
Yeah, he's really not having a good. I mean, he's not having a good time in Diamond, but the races he's filled in for Masters, he's been on the pace, so it's a good one. Also to note, Curbing's up 9 spots in 5th.
That's great. Great start there for Curbing. There's probably a little bit of luck going his way, and plus a couple of guys have probably faltered a little bit here, but just seeing the battle for second here as Iconic Q's just starting to just pull away a little bit here from Tim Ant, and they're both pulling away from the Rock. If anything, Curving might be starting to close back in on the Rock here, but Pure's really in another world, 5 seconds clear at the moment, so pretty much just doing similar to what he did last time out of Mexico.
Yeah, he's finding the groove now, and it's a bit worrying.
Maybe consider getting this man up to the top tier very soon, maybe, if he wants to go with the no line, as we're having a little moment on my side of things, but that's okay. I think someone may have actually destroyed one of the sides through the fast, what was it, turn 7. But everyone's just settling into a rhythm now. Bodhod trying to make a move up the inside of Wingman here. Not quite close enough. He might try. Maybe line him up for the front straight. If he can get a good exit out of here, he might have a chance here. Because no DRS, obviously, in the wet weather, but he's got plenty of ERS up his sleeve here, but just Wingman's got the better drive, so that pat traction, obviously, he's just worked out a little bit better there for the AlphaTauri man.
Yeah, Rock's has a fast lap as well, so Rock's actually finding some pace.
Yeah. I probably just missed that a little bit there, so good catch there, but we'll keep this eye on this battle here because it is starting to close back in again. So it's just Tim Ant starting to close his way back to Iconic Q. A little bit here, but again, not quite close enough here. They might bring back the Rock back into it as well. If he's setting quick lap times here, then he'll certainly put himself back into this battle here. We might see what else is going on here close handy. Bodhod still battling away with Wingman. Just a few close battles we have to keep our eyes on, but Tim Ant just sort of just hanging on for the time being, but it's not quite having enough there for that racing point.
Yeah, he was hounding him before, but now he's sort of fallen back in a bit of rhythm. Pure responds to 22-1. Or 21-2, sorry, so very fast. Yep,
there we go. I just had a little glitch there, so it wasn't showing up on my screen. But there we go, it's fixed itself, I think. Bodhod was close to the back of Wingman again, but I think Wingman's just got the better cuts here, just caught the back. They had a little moment going out of the final corner, just managed to save it. Yeah, it's a Bodhod again, just closing in here.
Yeah, he's much deeper on the brakes through turn 1.
Yeah. As a Wingman, he'd be struggling with a little bit with this front wing damage, so he'd probably be nursing this quite away till the pit stop window, I would assume. You look at the real struggle coming through that fast right left-hander. This probably may be a struggle as Bod gets very close in there of the AlphaTauri.
Yeah,
We'll see what you mean by the late braking move as he goes up the inside. Gets on the power just a little bit too much there, but trying to go around the outside. Might not be a bad option, and he's got it.
Yeah.
Very nice move there for Bod. Held up into 10th place now. There's now Cutsy be watching brief here, and Smeg as well. So Wingman may struggle a little bit here to maybe keep these two behind.
Yeah, I think separated both of them pretty quickly. He seems to be really struggling now.
See what happens here with Cutsy. He goes trying to take the wide line out of the final corner here. Keeping an eye, not quite close enough here. And like I said, Spec just keeping a close eye on this as well. In P13, let's see this battle back to second spot here. It did start to close a little bit there. I just called on the left of your screen. It did jump out a little bit there, but just come back a little bit there. So whether this is setup related or what, not entirely sure, but just seems like one driver's got the better advantage in maybe one part of the circuit, the other's got a better in the other parts.
Yeah, I think maybe they haven't adjusted for the wet, so someone's got a much higher downforce setup, and it's obviously paying dividends in the second sector.
Yeah. Again, Tim Ant not really close enough to the back there. Again, my internet's playing up lovely stuff. But we'll see here. I think Tao's putting pressure here on Alcatraz for 7th spot. We'll see what happens out of here as my game is glitching. Oh, not glitching, but the internet's playing up lovely stuff. That's a great camera view, I've got to say, of the crowd. But we'll go back on board with Tao. See if he maybe tries to move up the inside. No, not really close enough. As Wingman and Cutsy. The Smeg is getting involved here. So Smeg might go for 2 in 1 here. Up the inside. No, not really quite close enough here. But if he Cutsy may come back here and he outside. And he might do it. Smeg might hang it. No, he doesn't. Into that corner. It's really tricky. You can get 2 cars through that corner, through turn 2. But Smeg just playing the safer option there.
Yeah, just veteran move pulling out. Inevitable accident. Does actually look like Todd's got some pace now, to be fair.
Yeah, fresh air be playing into his strength there a little bit there as well. He's 4.9, I think, behind False Equation there, just in the foreground and that other Mercedes. But seems to just sort of quieten down a little bit here. Few battles as Tao goes really deep into the chicane there. It'll probably lose him a lot of time coming out of the corner, and it does there. So not really quite close enough to the back of Alcatraz. Big Chich is just keeping an eye on curving Texas here.
Yeah.
It goes up to 0.4 of a second now. It was apparently 1 second. So as again, that gap is still going to and fro between Tim Ant and Iconic Q there for second spot. We're not really much doing there as to see a difference there between Curving taking the very high line and Big Chich taking the more tighter line through that corner of turn 3. But he's still a 7/10 of a second away from Curving at the moment. See what else is going on in the background here. 11th place battle still heating up at the moment, but Cutsy just doesn't quite have enough to get past Wingman, so Wingman's doing a pretty decent job, even on the pad and with that front wing damage.
Yeah, to be fair, he's doing very well.
Yeah. The Pure up front, we haven't spoken about it for quite a while. The gap's nearly 9 seconds clear, so nearly say alarm bells are ringing, but
yeah, he could. He could pit right now and come out in 7th if he really wanted to do a 2-stop and have all the tyres, because it is about a 15-second pit stop here. It's very short.
Yeah. You just said the fastest final sector as well, I think, on the mini-map it said. Whether that's correct or not, I'm not sure. But again, this battle as we go back, as Chich has got past Curving Texas. So Chich has been on the move. Goes up into 5th place now. It's Curving fight back here. So again, the 2 different lines. Tighter line to the much higher line for Curving Texas. But Chich, I think, will start to pull away here and maybe start to rein in that gap there to The Rock, who's in 4th spot at the moment.
Yeah, it's great that you can run 2 lines this year in the wet. It makes it way more interesting.
I haven't personally done it myself yet, but would definitely be one to try for sure in this game. But gaps are creeping slow as we see yellow flags. As Jace has had a spin. Pretty much exactly like what Breno did earlier there by the looks of things, and he might come into the pit lane there. So back we go here to, again, this battle for second. It's just sort of toing and froing a little bit here. Just sort of comes back a little bit here, then it goes out again. So, again, I'm not sure as that's a terrible line there for Iconic Q. That may actually may put him under pressure here from Tim Ant going into turn 1. Not in the overtake mode there. Bit surprised there for Tim Ant, but again, that's probably the difference of lines there as Towels actually got by Alcatraz at the final corner. They're going to go side by side down the front straight here. Who's got the better straight line speed? Alcatraz looks like he's got it, but Towel goes up the inside and will get 7 spots. Yes, he does. Gets a little bit sideways out of the corner, but now we'll try and start to pull away, I think, from Alcatraz. Is also behind Smegs, got by Cutsy for 12th place. So now he could maybe try and get past AU Wingman. It's a lot happening at the moment.
Yeah, it's happening everywhere. And in turn 1 as well, it seems to be really the only spot you can really do anything at the moment.
Yeah. A bit surprised. There's also seen a couple of moves at turn 10 as I think that looks like James Cruz has had a spin, so that's the third spinner.
And he's tried to gas it like normal, but down the bank, the car's just going to fly down and clip the wall. That's rough. But
so that will most likely be into the pits there for James. No, he's going to continue on. As I think he's actually going to put down a lap. He is. So there goes Pure. 11 seconds clear at the moment. We'll keep an eye on this battle for second here as Timat is really much closer this time around. Not much ERS up his sleeve. But he might send it. No, he doesn't. It's not quite close enough. Although Iconic goes in a little bit deep. But just manages to hang on for the time being. Not too much difference in the ERS between these two. If anything, Rock Behind's got the most, nearly 90% ERS.
Yeah, just on that lapping, I think there's a lot of people who are at risk of the lap here. It's such a short track.
Very short track indeed, as Timat was putting a bit of pressure there on Iconic here, but I don't think there was really much passing opportunities. So he may have to settle down for a little while here. As we're nearly, I would think, closing in on this pit window for probably, if you're doing the one stop, if you want to at least do, I think, half race distance, you'd probably get away with the one stop around here.
Rocks on the marbles there, so that's going to bring Chich into 4th, or very close to the 4th battle. Does it actually look like it's drying up to you a bit as well?
Actually, make that point. Your valid point. Yes, it is actually starting to dry up here. So maybe this might throw something else into the ring here. As I think James had another spin there, but look at the drive out of their corner. Timat has got a better driver though. Iconic Q's coming into the pit lane here.
There we go.
Just managed to slow it down here, as well as curving tech. No, sorry, Big Chich. My apologies. But is this for Dries? Yes, it is for Dries. Okay.
Yeah, Darius enabled as well, so that's perfectly timed. So Iconic and Curving going to get a good, Chich going to get a good undercut.
See a lot of medium tyre runners here.
Yeah, so mediums to the end. I mean, actually, it'll be touch and go if the mediums make 20 laps with any pace. Softs, no chance. Not sure what Alcatraz is doing on the softs. Maybe just hoping for a safety car.
As yellows, see, I think that's James again who's struggling at the hairpin here. So, again, majority of these guys look like the guys' false equation. I don't know whether that was planned or not, but he's gone back on the intermediate tyres here. So, I don't know whether he's had an issue there or he's forgot to change onto the dries. But he may be going to be struggling a little bit here on these inters.
Looks like Pure.
We'll see the race leaders in. So, as everybody, I think, is going to be pitting for the mediums.
Pure no.
Again, internet's nicely playing up as always, but I think majority of everybody's now in. I think False will have to come back in now, considering it's dry as hell. So, majority, everyone's going mediums. Tim-Ant actually going for hards. Only seen a couple of guys actually go for the hard compounded tyres.
Yeah, I like that as well, because the hards here are very, very quick. Like, the difference between the medium and hard is almost nothing, and they're not going to die. As we've got a Ferrari around. Is that Banana?
It is Banana. You're correct. He's had a moment out of where's this? Out of turn 10 by the look of it. So
Jeez, he's a fair
I was
way
thinking
out.
Banana was going to do well here at this track. Maybe if it was a bit more drier, but doesn't seem to be. Not working well in the wet, and yeah, he's got front wing damage. So he'll probably have to come back in. False does come back in and puts on the medium tyres, so he'll be happy with that one. But that puts, so obviously Pure still leads the way, a 13-second gap. So I think Banana's still having dramas there. He might be put down a lap here, but Iconic Hughes into still second place, but actually, big winner has actually been Big Chich, jumping into third ahead of both Rock, ahead of the Rock.
Yeah, and Tim Ant's in 6th, so I'm not sure what's happened there. He's dropped. I mean, he's not too far behind. He must have been held up in the pit.
Either that or the hard compound tyres probably does take a little bit of time to get up to temperature as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you mentioned as well, Alcatraz the only one on the soft compounded tyres, so maybe potentially hoping for a late safety car or something as Banana's in and goes on to the hard compounded tyres, and we'll have to change the front wing. Let's see what's going on here with the Rock and Big Chich. I think this battle's galore as Beggars go round the look of it. Yes, he is doing the reversing technique that Breno did earlier on. And you'll have to come back into the pit lane and get a front wing change as well. So a lot of guys actually being caught out of the final corner.
Yeah, they're really struggling. Not too sure what setups everyone's running. Personally, like it's pretty comfortably flat there. So I'm wondering whether everyone's undervalued a rear wing here.
Yeah, potentially. It depends on whether most of these guys went for a sort of a wet-dry setup or mainly a wettish setup here. But well, yeah, we'll wait and see as he comes back into the lane and is on to the medium combatant tyres. But we'll focus on this battle here because Rock is closing in here on Big Chich, our championship leader, and he'll easily have him here on the front straight with the DRS now available. Made it so simple there.
Yeah.
Did the Rock, and Curving Texas may join this party as well here in 5th place.
Yeah, and AWS thinks this would be the time that you'd make it to the end for the mediums. So all those mediums would be maybe a lap or two dead towards the end of the stint. And Tim Ant really just needs to hang on and hope to catch everyone out.
Yeah, he doesn't want to drop too far behind these guys. Although these guys continue to battle, then might bring him back into equation here. But probably a lot of the guys on the mediums are doing a lot of tyre conserving to get to the end of the race. If Alcatraz would be doing a hell of a lot of tyre conserving if he's getting the softs to the end, which would be highly unlikely, I would think. But we'll continue on here as Curving closing in here on to Big Chich here. Had the DRS as well, but same point of time, Chich has still got the DRS as well, so not letting the Rock out of sight here at the current moment.
And we've got another yellow. Looks like it's Wingman or Stone.
It's Wingman.
Yeah.
And I think that front wing is looking a little bit more worse. I'm not sure whether he actually changed it at the last pit stop or not, but if he didn't, well, he's just probably made it a little bit more worse. But we go back to the front here. Chich has started to drop a little bit away off the Rock here. If anything, Curving's putting pressure on onto Chich as we'll keep an eye as well on Bothod. He's closing in on Alcatraz as well.
Yeah, Bodhod's got pace. And Alcatraz has no pace. Actually, I think Alcatraz has dropped it somewhere because he wasn't 10 seconds down before.
Yeah. That won't be ideal for Alcatraz, but this will be helping for Bodhop. Where is he currently? 9th in the standings, so really needs to start getting a little bit of a move on here. It's still a long way to go, obviously. Any points around here, any points in this championship can be vital. He's really starting to close in here on be close enough as Wingman continues to drop spots behind. He got the much better run here. Might actually try and move up the inside here into before the chicane, and he might have it. Alcatraz may hold it. No, he doesn't. So Bodhot now up into 7th. Now the fair gap to catch up to his teammate in front here. Of course, his hards will be starting to come into fruition as Curving now gets the move into 4th spot on Big Chich. So whatever was working before for Chich in the wet, it's probably not working well in the dry now.
Yeah, and he's at risk of falling back to even 6th now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not what he wants in his championship at all. I guess his closest rival is still behind him, but yeah, I mean, if Pure's going to win races like this, he's going to need to start stacking up points.
He's doing the right thing in the moment. Is Pure. 18-second gap here at the moment over Iconic Q. So, I mean, get this man in the master tier, even if he wants to not race without the racing line. But let's have a look here. The Rock is closing in here on Iconic Q for second spot here.
Yeah, Rock's it's really weird. I think Rock actually might be the second fastest person on the circuit. He just has no consistency. He puts in a lap that's easily fast enough to be near Pure, and then all of a sudden it's a second and a half too slow. As Wingman.
He's retired. Yeah, so that would have made things interesting if that was a safety car, but not the case. As Chich back up the inside there, good call. Back into 4th spot, so not giving up without a fight here is Chich.
Yeah, and Tim still keeping it only a very, very small gap. So if Tim expect around lap 27, 28, those halves to be easily the fastest on circuit.
Yeah, for sure, and he's still keeping that margin about 1.6 to about 1.8 seconds, so keeping them within range a little bit here as we'll go back to this battle with Curving and Chich because it's certainly entertaining. Just in the foreground there, I think, was Rock, who's still closing in on Iconic Q. So there's a few battles we've got to keep our eyes on here, and Tao's closing back in here on to Alcatraz again. So looks like, I don't know if Alcatraz is 0 pace on the softs or whether he's gone a wet setup, but he's just got nothing at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's gone wet setup. Because the car it doesn't look very nice. It looks like he's on hards compared to people on mediums.
There you go. There's Stone Tail up the inside into the chicane, and he's got that move pretty much well and truly done as the Rock has now got into second spot here. As he's cleared Iconic Q into turn 1, and mate, that looked pretty simple. Well, look at it, the DRS fully open. Now it's got a long way to go to catch up to Pure Gold. We'd be hoping for maybe a late safety car to maybe have any shot of catching up to Pure.
Yeah, and even then, I think I think this one might be chalked up.
Yeah, that is for sure. I think Curving's starting to drop away here from Big Chich, so Chich maybe starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm here. So we see Alcatraz still keeping an eye on our Stone Towel, but just really not much on in the tank, I don't think, at the moment. See what else is going on here. Yellows, and it looks like Smeg's around again.
Yeah, he's not having a good one, is he? Old Smeg.
No, unfortunately not for Smeg. He's been doing well in this championship so far. Just been pretty consistent all around.
Yeah, I think it might be a bit of frustration. I think he was much quicker than that group he was with to the start of the race, and he's just a bit of frustration set in.
Yeah, for sure. As see back to his teammate is keeping that gap under a second, so he's still getting that DRS, but Rock will be hoping to maybe start to pull away here. He's still got plenty of ERS up his sleeve if he really wants to pull away. There's a few battles, not much happening. It's Alcatraz, I think, has realised that the softs is just not working. He's come in.
Yeah, I think he's
gone for another set of softs.
Yeah, that's a bizarre choice.
That is really weird. He might actually jump a spot to Cutsy as well, so although he may have the fresh rubber, I don't know whether they've made any front wing changes or what during that stop, but be hoping they work because, like we said earlier, he had 0 pace as James also back into the lane here. But now Chich is actually closing in here on Iconic Q for the 3rd spot here.
Yeah, these 6 guys really, or 5 guys really just yo-yoing each other up.
Very much so, but Chich will have the DRS here, and he's got had a little tiny bit more ERS up his sleeve. Up the inside he goes. Iconic Q go deep. Might have been a little bit of contact as he goes off into the gravel and nearly loses it coming out of turn 1. So that wouldn't have helped his cause there, but Chich now up onto the podium and maybe even having a shot here, getting second spot off the rock.
Yeah, Iconic sort of, he's flicked away expecting Chich to close the door, and Chich has left him tons of room, so
Yeah.
kind of a weird one there.
Keep an eye as well on Tim-Ant, who's just... Oh, he nearly lost it coming through that fast right-hander at turn 7, so that wouldn't have helped his cause there. He was really starting to close in as well onto curving Texas, but now have to do that little bit of work all over again. So I think Alcatraz trying to get past Cutsy as quickly as he can, just trying to recover something from this race. Guy takes the very high line out of turn 3, but there's not really much passing opportunities around here, so he might have to settle back in for the time being. I think everyone else has sort of settled back into a rhythm for now, so we'll keep an eye on things.
Yeah.
As Jace is retired, is that a safety car? No, virtual safety car.
Yeah. He's dropped it in sector 2.
It's just out of between turns 9 and 10. We'll look at it on my mini map that I have in front of me. So it is quite a common spot, I think, for people to lose it coming out of those corners.
Yeah, that curb on the outside I think is a bit slippery, so that would explain that.
Yeah, for sure. I think Tao has taken advantage of this virtual safety car, and he's going to chuck on the soft compounder tyres here. Is he going to fall behind? He might actually hang on in front of Alcatraz and Cutsy, so it might not be all too bad there.
Yeah, it's not a bad call.
Alcatraz trying to look up the inside, takes a lot of curve into turn 1. These two are going to go side by side through here. No, not quite. Does leave the room, but he'll have to take the very high line there. There's Alcatraz, and he gets it done. But Cutsy may fight back here. He's trying to go in and out. There's not really much room around here to maybe pass, although that may change. I think Alcatraz may have it for now, so might just have found that little bit of pace back again as Alcatraz's Cutsy runs it a little bit wide on the exit through turn 8. As Curving gets by Iconic here for 4th place there. So maybe now trying to chase back after Viccic here, maybe fight for a spot on the podium. We'll have to probably keep an eye on the penalty situation, because I'm not entirely sure. But go back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I wonder if he changed a wing in the pits or anything that we just missed. Maybe he had some damage that we didn't notice.
I didn't see. I was looking at the pit stops. I didn't see a front wing change. So I mean, whether he's just either maybe lowered the front wing or maybe make it higher the front wing or something, just to find something in this race, and may have just regained it a little bit there. But anything, let's have a look here. Tim-Ant here will be keeping pretty consistent at the moment here.
Yeah, I know the Rock has a 3-second penalty. I'm not sure about everyone else, but I can guarantee that Rock has one. So we'll need to gap away a little bit more than he is right now.
So he would probably maybe drop a spot or two, as I think Curving's trying to break the slipstream there on Iconic Hugh, and I don't think he's quite close enough for moving to turn 1. He's keeping in touch with him here. But these two keep fighting, then it'll bring Tim-Ant back into the battle, but not sure whether the hard competitor... I mean, it's not probably a bad idea to go on the hards, but whether it was the right move or not, but it's just the consistent pace is probably there, but not really gaining a lot on these two, except if they're battling.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the squabbling has saved their mediums, because they're just not pushing so hard that they've actually got a bit of extra life. Potentially here, but see Iconic's just dropping away a little bit here. I think the time's a little bit there, as Pure just set 11.7 on another fastest lap, so really starting to pull away here. Actually might be about to put a lap on false equation in the Mercedes, so what's that, as he just passes 11th place man, so top 10 is still on the lead lap at the current moment. Yeah, that's never a good sight when half the grid's been lapped, but again, short track, and I guess Pure is...
Oh, Iconic Hughes, Spartan. I think Tim-Ant's collected him.
Yeah, he has.
I think there was front wing damage, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Yeah, Tim Ant's missing a plate. Iconic's
Yeah.
with Murder. He's got no damage.
That's really very unlucky there for Tim Ant. I just caught it. I think Iconic just got on the curb at turn 1 and he just got into a half spin. I think Tim Ant was just in the wrong place, or picked one spot and it was the other way he should have probably picked. But it's going to really cost Tim Ant here. Second in the championship, considering his championship rival is in third on the podium at the moment. I think Iconic will probably maybe try and get back through here. Gonna be a long. I probably would be surprised if he actually continues on here with that front wing damage. It'll be a long haul, but got to get some points.
Yeah, I think he'll be safe to Bodhod.
Yeah, that gap's only 8 seconds back to Bodhod. As I think Cutsy is closing back on Alcatraz, or again Alcatraz does not have the pace, but we'll see what happens here as he's trying. No, Tim-Man actually comes into the pits.
Interesting.
So he's not confident there. They might not lose too much ground. Oh, well, he'll lose a lot of ground, but he'll lose probably a spot to his teammate, obviously, in 6th. But I think the next car, Stone Tower's a fair way behind, so he might come out in 7th spot here. He'll go nuts, obviously, on his last few laps with the soft compounded tyres and a fresh wing. Maybe just didn't feel confident with that front wing damage there. But everyone looks to have settled back into their rhythms here, and gaps are starting to phase out a little bit here as we'll cut back to 10th, 9th and 10th here as Gutsy putting pressure on Alcatraz into turn 2. Again, not quite close enough here. Look at Alcatraz going to very high line there. Tell the difference that these drivers are doing, the high line compared to the low line.
Yeah, it's really 1A, 1B. You sort of give up that time, but you get such a good run through that middle sector.
Yeah, for sure. But again, Cutsy just trying to get close in here as he goes in very deep. And I think he's actually going to be lapped by the race leader, actually. So I didn't realise that was Pure behind him. So that probably will not help Cutsy a lot here. So that leaves 9 cars on the lead lap, but probably won't be for too much longer because I think Pure will get by Alcatraz pretty easily, I would assume. And yes, he does. Just pulls to the side there, lets the race leader go through. That might give Cutsy a little bit of motivation to try and chase after. Might get a little slipstream with Alcatraz. I don't think you want to pass the race leader back to get your lap back unless you get a very late safety car, but no, not really quite close enough.
Yeah, it looks like our battle for 2nd and 3rd's sort of died down now. So, looks like we may not have anything to argue.
No, pretty... what's the gap? 2.3 seconds at the moment, and then for the 2.5 back to curving Texas. So as Smeg's come into the lane late on, so I assume he's going for the soft compounder tyres. Let's just check if he is. Yes, he is. We'll see this battle for 9th and 10th, because that's pretty much, I think, the only closest battle we've got here on the racetrack. And Cutsy tried everything he can, although his meters will probably start to die out a little bit here, though saying that, soft compounded tyres, although Alcatraz probably has not had the pace this race, probably, like we said earlier, probably more gone the way for the wet setup compared to maybe the dry.
Yeah, it's I'm really not too sure if everyone went wet setup or dry setup. It seems like everyone's gone the same way, but it's kind of hard to tell which way they've gone.
Yeah. Maybe probably more majority looking for the wet setup in the qualifying, even though it was into... Oh, yeah, it was both intermediates for qualifying, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was inters, yeah.
Yeah. So wouldn't have probably changed too much, you would think. But that gap between Rock and Chich is nearly 3 seconds. And I think you said Rock's got a penalty.
Yep. So that might be... That's going to be really close, actually.
Yeah, pretty tight for who finished the 2nd or 3rd. I don't know about the other situation with the others, but we'll see Cutsy closing in again on Alcatraz, but again, Tim at 11.43. It's just come up on my screen, although my screen's been having glitches right, left, and centre. So again, come on, internet, get me through these last few laps, please. As everyone's sort of settled just down into their rhythms now. Only real close battle here is Cutsy, and the false equation just not too far behind. He's 1.7 seconds behind Cutsy at the moment. It's pretty much hang on, have I seen right? Pure's in the pits.
Yeah, see, wow, he wants the fast lap.
Yeah.
He'll get out in front as well, easily.
Easily. He's into turn 2 before the others are into turn on the front straight. So, if he's really gunning for that fastest lap, and with his pace at the moment, he'll probably have that easily. I think it's 11.43.
Yeah.
Let me just double. No, that's the wrong one. Let me just double. That's the wrong one again. Smeg now 11.306. There, so it's the near fastest lap. So he'd be definitely going for that. If seeing those times on the softs, then you'd say probably a 10 probably be possible for Pure at this rate.
Yeah, I think a 10 or even maybe a 9.9 might get triggered at this point.
Wouldn't rule it out. It's he's got 26.7 second gap over the rock and still hanging around underneath that 3 seconds. So they maybe have a swap of positions there, but won't be able to too much as goes Cutsy around the outside, and now finally gets ninth, although he goes in a little bit deep there. There's a little bit of contact. Was there a little bit? No, probably was a little bit of lag on my screen. Lovely stuff, but again, different lines here at the head at that turn 3. But now Cutsy gets himself in the 9th and just has not been Alcatraz's race at all this race.
Yeah, no, he's nothing's really going his way. Setup looks pretty poor. Car does not look balanced. Go on board next lap through second sector, you just see it fighting and squirming around.
Yeah, I see what you mean there, right on cue. As his false equation here may take advantage of this and maybe get himself a top 10 here, if anything. Although, even though everybody will finish will score points, it will probably definitely matters for a top 10 for sure.
Yeah, the reward finishing in the top 10 is still pretty great. And, the points discrepancy is big, but yeah, bring the car home, get some points.
See what happens here, because Alcatraz will have DRS on Cutsy, but I don't think he's really quite close enough. No, he isn't. And false equation did have as, there you go, 10-2 for Pure, so he's definitely had the pace, and he'll get that extra bonus point unless somebody really comes into the end of this lap and comes in as Alcatraz is pushing Cutsy through the corner. Literally, I think he was trying for a move at turn 3, but it didn't quite work out. So this is a battle for 9, 10, and 11. Because now False is really joining this battle here. Might try and get a better run here. That's not really a passing spot into turn 8. But maybe turn 9 might have a try. No, goes maybe out in an inline. Just see if we get with the driver. Alcatraz again struggling to get away here as Bodhod's come in for a late pit stop here as well. Because I think that's actually the race leader behind him. So behind False, yes it is. So there goes Pure up the inside. So False will probably be hoping Pure gets by both these two in front, so he can maybe try and battle for that top 10 as Bodhod does go onto the softs. As the blue flags will be waving for these two, no doubt. As Pure will now set off for the last lap here. 16.9 seconds clear. They're trying to battle here while they're getting lapped. That's never a good thing.
No, it's never a good thing.
Cutsy just manages to hang on for now as Alcatraz going to try for a move. He'll take the much tighter line here. That's probably the first time I've seen him take the tighter line, not the very high line that he has been.
Yeah, I think he needs to stick to his guns, actually. Probably take the high line, because Cutsy's sort of parking in the middle.
Yeah. And he's got the less of the ERS of these guys. If anything, False Equation's got the most, so he can afford to maybe go nuts here as he has a little look up the inside. Smeg comes in late for a soft tyre run. Yeah. It's probably a little bit too late for Smeg, I think, for the fastest lap. So I think Pure will have that, but we'll keep an eye on this battle. As here comes Foles up the inside into the chicane.
Very
And
deep.
he'll get 10th spot off of DNE Alcatraz. That probably will be the last little bit of battling, I would think, unless something happens on the front straight. But Pure pretty much does it again. He did it in Mexico, and he's going to do it here at the Dutch Grand Prix. He wins it by quite a comfortable margin. As you see the guys behind us, I think Alcatraz comes into the pit lane across the finish line. Lovely way to finish.
Yeah, and
There.
I don't think Rock's going to get second here. I think he's going to lose it to Chich.
He's going to try everything here. It's 2.1. As there's yellow flags behind. Not sure what happened. As Chich does get second spot off the right against the Rock to P3. Curving Texas just misses out on the podium there in a P4. Iconic Hugh had a pretty decent battle up in second spot, but just probably just didn't quite have the pace in the dry. Comes home in fifth. Tim Ant will come home in sixth spot. Probably another what could have been. He will lose a few points in the championship to his rival, Big Chich. So here comes Bodhod just in front. There's Banana. There's Can't Do Crap and Smeg have already finished as Banana's 14th. Bodhod comes home in 7th, and we'll wait on the Stone Tower to bring it across the line. He'll finish up in position 8.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good I mean, obviously, Pure's driven off into the sunset, but everyone else, nice, very good battling, very clean. Everyone handled the wet. Ironically, everyone handled the wet better than the dry, if anything.
Yeah,
It's kind of a bizarre turn of events, but
not wrong there. Curving Texas gets Codemasters driver of the day. But probably for where he came from in that race.
Yeah, probably would get our driver of the day as well, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's everybody on the podium. Again, the Haas is spraying champagne, probably a lot more than what they do in real life currently. But good to Steiner will be pretty happy with that result for sure.
yeah, and Chich does probably exactly what he was hoping for realistically tonight. Gets second, solidifies his championship. But yeah, Pure's coming as apparently it's raining again.
It always does. It always does this. But you want to take us through the race results again, Tao?
Yeah, sure. Pure, dominant win by 20 seconds with an extra pit stop and fast slap. Chich follows in second, as we mentioned. Rock third, Curving fourth, Iconic and Tim Ant in fifth and sixth. They'll be disappointed. They probably thought they would be further up. Bodhod does another save job from 17th to 7th, so actually he could also be driver of the day. Stone Tower in 8th, Cutsy in 9th, Folson, DNE, Alcatraz having a shocker down in 10th and 11th. Smeg also suffering, Can't Do Crap, and Banana also dropped the car at some point through that race. And James Cruz, who was having a tumultuous qualifying, as was Jay Schick and Wingman, unfortunately, on the pad. And Breno gave up early, dropped it through the last corner, but I'm sure he'll be back next week. So, whilst we invite some people to have a little chat, I will put us on Be Right Back. Alright, welcome back everyone. No top 3 today. We've just got second place and championship leader and our, well, probably driver of the day to be fair, in 4th Curving Texas. We'll start with Chich. A little further back than you've been throughout the series, but finished in second again, so talk us through your race.
Yeah, I think I stuffed up my last quali lap when the track was evolving. I think I would have the last corner. I don't know if you caught it on the stream or not, but I lost it in the last banking area.
Okay.
And if I lost about 5-10 sets up, I would have sat around third or fourth, I think. But yeah, shit posse, and then luckily, what saved me the most was basically coming in a lap earlier than Tim and all those guys, because I jumped all them, which saved my race. The only problem is I forgot to change my front wing settings to maybe a bit lower, and that cost me a bit of top end speed, which why Rocky passed me through the race there. But then I don't know, I just let my pace just stabilised after a few laps, and just stuck around 2 seconds within Rocky. But overall, I think it was better than I even thought, especially with a wet race being unpredictable, and being from P7 to P2. I think it's a pretty good result.
Yeah, I think anyone from 6th to 2nd could have easily had 2nd, really. Just a bit of who got the best run at the end. Curving, you started 14th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14th. You're in 5th, I think, in 2 laps.
Yeah, but by the start of the 3rd lap,
Yeah.
I think I looked.
People falling off the track, or just because it was sort of really hard to follow, obviously, with the thing flicking around.
I went from 14th to 7th by the 3rd corner or 4th corner.
Okay.
So, actually, no, 7th by the exit of the 1st corner, and then I think I got past Chich as well around the outside of the 3rd corner. But obviously got a good start, and I'll start with qualifying first. Qualifying was a shambles for me. I was trying to just milk the timer and get the best track possible, and there are a lot of people who were on laps or coming to the end of it, and I was like, well, just stay out of the way. So I was at the second last corner with probably a minute to go, and I just let everyone pass, and I was like, I won't ruin my teammate's lap, I'll let him pass, and then sure enough, I get to the line 2 seconds after the checkered flag falls. But yeah, it is what it is. P14. I knew, obviously, with a wet race, I still knew I had pace there. Probably really not as much as what I ended up having, but so. And then onto the race, obviously, made a good start. Tried to hang it. Went from the inside back to the outside for the 1st corner, made that positions around there. And then, it was just our front little group sort of pulled away after Alcatraz had his mistake there. Which I think cost him a fair bit there, unfortunately. But so our front group sort of pulled away, and then I was just trying to stick with these guys up the front, and actually had good pace on it, and just trying to stick right as close as possible. I knew rather than fight Chich at this point, I'd rather work with him, which we sort of did most of the race, to be honest. Obviously. I thought I ran a pretty high downforce thing, changed my wing, sort of was running, I was running a higher ride height than what Chich was running, and somehow I was faster on the straights, even with more wings and stuff, so it was weird, but it worked for me, and I had a lot of grip in that dry stint as well, which I, obviously I expected to have a lot of grip, but not be that fast in it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was an exciting race from 2nd to 6th. It was a shame that Roscoe and Tim had their little, not Roscoe, nice.
Hugh.
Nice.
Iconic Hugh.
Iconic Hugh and Tim Ant had their little moment, because I think we would have had, honestly, probably a 4 or 5-way battle for the 2nd, but that's, I guess we're pretty lucky not to have that many accidents around there anyway.
Considering we didn't have a safety car as well. that's kind of credit to everyone. Sort of just not,
Yeah, everyone
there's a few
was well
things and
behaved.
stuff. But,
Very
yeah.
well behaved. But yeah, thank you guys. Looking forward to next week, which is
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I think it is Abu Dhabi if I'm not mistaken. So that should be. It'll be interesting to get that out of the way. It's not going to be the title decider, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we'd be on to the US for round 6. So getting deeper into the season, and I think Chich will now pull away at the front by, I think, somewhere like 30 points now, maybe 25. So someone's going to have to stop this man. But I'm sure someone will get closer as we go on.
Well, it's going to make it more competitive now, considering Pure's out. So
Yeah.
I mean, me curving and Tim Ant pretty much have, I'd say, identical pace. So
yeah, I honestly think, we saw it today. Yeah, it's what, 2nd to 6th. It's just
so usually
Yeah.
in each race is normally curving and Tim Ant. I'm
And
wrestling with
Bodod,
the
I'm sure
whole
Bodod's going to
race.
find pace as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just kind of been unlucky. Obviously, today having to start 17th, but there's a lot of people out there.
There's probably, maybe I'd say there's probably 8 people that could win on a day, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've all got pace, so it's pretty more. I'd say it's even more competitive than last year, even though I joined like halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
definitely fairly competitive this year.
Yeah, I do agree for sure. Yeah, thank you, boys. I'll hand over to Roscoe to close it out with any final words that he feels to add.
It was a very entertaining race. Well done, boys, on the great battling at this whole race. Obviously, Pure was the very dominant one, but I'd say, yeah, bring on Abu Dhabi. Now, obviously, Pure is making the move up. We might have some battles pretty much right, left, and centre that we can't keep up as commentators.
Yeah, I'm super excited now. I think we're gonna have. I think probably Diamond's going to be the best league of all 4, to be honest, because I would be amazed if someone runs away with this title at this rate. Yeah, I won't be anything like the other tiers, which is great to see. And it's good to see people moving up as well. We've had 2 people move up now into Masters in 5 weeks, so it's good. Like, people want the challenge. It's there. And I'm sure one of the 4 or 5 people we've just mentioned that are going to fight for this title are probably going to be in Masters next season as well. And on that, join us tomorrow for Masters at a track that none of us have ever sweated out. I mean, I'm sure someone's been sweating the laps, but no one's sweated the race out. So it'll be an interesting race for people who normally know every inch and outcome. So please join us for that at 8:30. It'll be with Smeg and Alcatraz, and me and Roscoe will be racing, and I'm sure we would enjoy you watching along. And that will be all from us. Thank you, Roscoe, as always, for doing a fantastic job.
Pleasure. Thank you for saving me during qualifying.
Yeah, rough with qualifying. I promise you, at some point, we'll have no issues. It'll happen. At some point. Again, it really is just a me thing. It's wherever I do comms, there's always problems. So I'll take blame. Anyway, thank you guys.